Hey gang, so Big White EDC sent me a new product to review. This time it's the PEI or Ultim Pig Coin. Now, in the past, I've owned a Pig Coin. I love the Pig Coin. I gotta say up front, I am not a fan of PEI. There's just something about plastic. I don't like the feel of it, but that's just me. I know a ton of you out there love PEI, so I'm not gonna let that affect my review. So let's take a look. We're gonna open it up and we're gonna see what makes this thing tick. Let's go. Okay, here we go with the Pig Coin in PEI or Ultim, as they say. So again, I had a stainless steel Pig Coin and I loved it. The difference though with the older version and the newer version is the older version had sort of a two-step ratchet. When you turned one way, moving one side, it ratcheted, it had sort of big gaps in between, so like a slower ratchet, and then when you did the other side, it had a quicker ratchet. So you had this different kind of feeling, I found, when you could play with it in two ways, which was kind of cool. This one doesn't. This one has a straight up, it's the same action on both sides. Now, the one thing I want to point out is there's kind of a misconception with some people until you open it, which is that these do not rotate in both directions. It's that the two different plates move differently. So you're actually getting the action from either side. They're set up to kind of move in opposite directions. But when you're holding it, it feels like this thing ratchets, like it's got some weird internal system that lets you kind of spin it both ways. It's actually not. It's that each plate is moving in a different direction, but it has that kind of cool sense that you can actually move it in either direction. So I like that part. I'm going to say I like everything about this except for the fact that it's in PEI. I don't really like PEI. I find it's, and I know it's not a normal everyday plastic. I know it's sort of used in the aviation industry. I know it's a really high-tech, very strong plastic. I just don't like the feel of it. It still just feels cheap to me. It feels like it's plastic, and I like my fidgets to have a feeling of quality to them, and that quality comes in metal. You know, titanium, zirc, even steel. I would rather have this in steel than in PEI. Now, again, that is just my opinion. That's my preference. I know a lot of you love PEI, and that's great because that's what makes the fidget community so awesome. Is there are so many of us with different tastes that we all kind of push the product designers into new directions with all of these new sort of flavors that everybody has started to love. So, having said that, you love PEI, or some of you do. I don't. But I can look past that and still say that this is designed really well. This is a really, really fun coin. I just wish I had it in the metal, but it's really good. Now let's open it up. I'm going to zoom in. Should I go even one more? I don't know. It gets pretty noisy if I go in one more. By that I mean like video noise. But let's do it just so that we can hopefully see the inner workings. Now I'm going to lift this off very carefully. You see there's a magnet on both sides holding both lids in place. And in fact, when I got this, one of the magnets immediately came loose. So I had to glue it together. Okay. All right. So here are the inner workings. So what happens is the spring pushes this little pin out, and the pin rides along those grooves. See, so it's actually sitting in a groove right now. And then when it moves to the next groove, it does that little snap. Let's see if we can do it without it flying out. Ready? That's it. So all that's happening Now, you're not seeing this one click because its lid is removed. What I was trying to show you poorly is this same mechanism is on the side underneath. So watch that tooth. Watch what happens as it, see, pushes out, pops in. So that is all these do. They just click into their own lids. Now, what can be tricky is sometimes these will pop out. So I'm going to show you the easiest way I find to get them back in. So first thing, I feel like when I'm using this, I absolutely want to have a set of tweezers with me. Just to use it better. Oh, I have to hold my breath there for a second. So see, I've got the little pin out. Put that down. And then what's fun is when you try to do this. Oh, did I just send it flying? I think I just forced it out on its own. Okay, so I found the spring. These things are so little and so kind of volatile that they bounce everywhere. Now I changed up the tweezer. At first I was using my trusty plastic tweezers. The problem with this one is the tip of this tweezer is actually just a bit too wide. So what happens is the spring, once I put it inside the spring to load it in, it actually sits in there and it's hard to take off. So I went with the much thinner metal tweezer. Okay, now the trick here is we want to put this pin into the hole. Okay, so the trick is taking this pin and making sure that the point is up, kind of like mirroring this one, because this is the part of the we'll call it the tooth that goes along these little grooves here. So the trick is we have to put the arm in while the spring is pressed in at the same time, or this whole thing goes shooting out. So what I try to do is I line it up with the hole, put it in there, and then I take the tweezer and I push the spring in. And then that's it. So you have to have the spring pushed into the hole before you can put this arm in properly, or it sits just outside of it and you're going to have a really tough time doing it. So just remember, it's a two-step process. The arm goes in the hole, then make sure the spring is pushed in before you can slide it. And then that's it. Then our lid just goes on top. And you can see when it turns this way, the pins we just put in move along the teeth. And when we go the other way, it's the bottom pins that are moving. And that's it. So I have to confess, this took me way longer than what you guys saw because the spring went flying and it popped out a couple times. So really, I've got to stress with these, be careful. And thankfully, if you buy one, it comes with a lot of spare springs. It comes with like a whole bunch of springs and a whole bunch of balls. So I think they're anticipating you kind of losing these things and them going crazy. So that's it. That's the pig coin in PEI. All right, gang. Thanks for watching.